Hey guys, it's Ben. Welcome back to my weekly vlog, which hasn't been updated in 2 weeks. And that's part of my confession that I wanted to start today's vlog with, or this week's vlog with, if you will. I try to do these every Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday of every week and give you a weekly weigh-in of me and my blood sugar average, glucose average for the week. And that's mostly to keep me in line with myself. It's mostly for me to stay on myself, right? So I can come on the vlog and say, you guys, thanks a lot for keeping me honest with myself. I got my walking in every third day. I did 3 days of walking this week for an hour and kept up with my food and all that stuff. But that's not what happened the last 2 weeks, you guys. I'm not gonna come here and tell you that, I kind of lost it. I broke down. I went to all you could eat buffets for the last couple of weeks. Nothing like that. I didn't go to fast food places. I didn't change my lifestyle of eating healthy. But what I didn't do is I didn't exercise the last 2 weeks. I know. I've missed 6 walk-in sessions, and I know Chuck's not very happy with me. The thing is, you guys, I let my old thinking come back, right? I let that old thinking come back. I'm just too busy, right? I don't have time. I've got to do this, that, and the other thing. I got to make coffee. By the time I have my coffee, I got to get out to the shop and do all this stuff, right? Now, you guys that have been watching the vlog know I retired earlier this year in September. Not too long ago. I'm still getting used to the retired life, and I got to tell you, I think I was made for it, really. I'm loving it. But when you retire, don't let people say, you're going to have nothing to do when you retire. Are you kidding me, man? I've been putting off projects around my house for years, decades, really, decades. And I'm finally starting to get those projects completed. I'm starting to work on them, right? I have all kinds of time. Like today's Monday, I woke up and I was like, what am I gonna do today? I probably should get my vlog out because it's been 2 weeks and it's a weekly vlog. And you're not really supposed to do skip, every other week on a weekly vlog. You're supposed to vlog every week. And in this vlog, you guys, if you're not familiar, I give my weight and I give you what my glucose average was over for the last week, right? Just to keep me updated. And I give you an update on my exercise and how things are going and what I thought that week. Just whatever comes to mind for that vlog. Like this, there's no script, right? I'm not reading off a script. The only time I'll ever look off camera is when I'm looking for my data, right? Like how much I weighed 2 weeks ago, which by the way was 159 pounds. I was right on track. So before we get all this started, you guys, first of all, what you need to know is I'm ADHD and I kind of jump all over the place and I'm very sorry. Some people can keep up and other people can't. I understand, right? If you gotta unsubscribe or get away from me because it's just too confusing. But if you can keep up, there is a message in all my videos for sure, right? I've always got something to say. I always tell my wife, I'm gonna go in and do my Mounjaro video, even though I came off Mounjaro like 6 months ago. I came off it in June of this last year, right? I came off of it because I hit weight goals, first of all, right? I kept losing weight and I couldn't stop losing weight while I was on it. It didn't matter, right? I just couldn't stop losing it. Now I got down to 149 pounds and that kind of scared me because that's too small for me. I'm 5'9", right? And 149 pounds is not enough weight on my frame. I didn't feel like it was. Some people will argue and say, you look great at that weight. I didn't feel good at that weight, right? So I wanted to be between 155 and 165. So I started gaining weight from 149 where I'd lost it after I'd quit taking the Mounjaro, right? I also quit taking the Mounjaro because I started developing this terrible neuropathy in my right foot. As it turns out, it's kind of a condition of taking the Mounjaro and my A1C dropping too rapidly. It's a thing called TINS and it's called treatment-induced neuropathy of diabetes, right? So it's treatment-induced neuropathy, right? So what happened is my A1C dropped so fast that my nerves in my foot freaked out. And they're like, man, something's going on here. We got to defend ourselves. And they kind of shut down. And I developed neuropathy because of that. Now, most people, Mounjaro works good on most people, I would say. But on me, it works exceptionally well. right? So I could take the 2.5. I never went above the 5 milligram dose the whole time I was taking it, right? And I went from like 200 pounds on this stuff all the way down to 147. And before that, I had lost about 50 pounds on my own, 50 or 60 pounds on my own before turns out that my doctor discovered that I had diabetes and put me on the Mounjaro. And that's what helped me get rid of the rest of the weight. I couldn't do it on my own, but that Mounjaro certainly got me from 190, 200 all the way down to 149. But now I'm at 159 as of 2 weeks ago, so right at goal weight. I'm shooting for 155 to 165. The real reason that I got put on the Mounjaro, though, was my diabetes. My A1C was 10.6, and my blood glucose reading that day that I got tested was 475, right? A normal glucose reading is between 90 and 100 is what my doctor said is where I should be, between 90 and 100. Mine was 475. So she immediately put me on this Mounjaro stuff, and it almost immediately got my A1C from 10.6 down to 5.4, and it got my glucose reading from 475 down to like 90 to 100, like in a couple of weeks. Like, it was incredible. And it dropped it so fast that I developed that neuropathy in my foot. Or so my neurologist thinks. That's what the case was. He doesn't think going back on Mounjaro would adversely affect me at this point, especially on a lower dose, 2.5. But I don't need to go back on it yet. My doctor has said, right, next week I'm going in for my A1C draw. I should have done it this week, but like I said, guys, I got sick last week so bad, it was ridiculous. I woke up one morning feeling like I used to feel just about every time I woke up when I was overweight, like I didn't sleep good enough. You know what I mean? Now that I've lost the weight, one of the benefits of losing all that weight is I'm sleeping a little bit better now. Although I'm not getting the hours that I want because my foot still wakes me up. On occasion, I'm still not getting all the hours that I want. I am sleeping. The hours that I do sleep, I sleep much better. Much, much better. I'm waking up much better rested these days. Much better mood, and it's affecting everything, right? It's affecting the way I think. It's affecting the way I go through the day, and it's affecting the way that I'm treating my family and the way they treat me, because I'm treating them a lot nicer than I used to. Not that I was mean to them. It's just that I could get irritable. You know what I mean? I don't get irritable anymore. I feel a lot better. Anyways, what I'm trying to say, now that I've lost all this weight and I wake up feeling better, but it reminded me of the way that I used to feel when I woke up, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And throughout that day, things just progressively went downhill. I started having diarrhea, started puking, I couldn't stop it. I had to have a bucket next to my bed because I wasn't sure I could make it. That's how bad it was. Now, back in the day, I'd get sick like that. That'd be a 3-4 day thing, right? You could guarantee I was going to be out of work 2 or 3 days, right? So I was like, oh my God, this is going to suck. 24 hours later, I woke up after sleeping 13 hours, puking everything that I had inside out, and the other thing, right, into the toilet. I had nothing left, right? But 24 hours later, I woke up dehydrated like crazy, but not feeling overly terrible, right? And I started getting back on my feet. And within 12 hours that day, I was feeling 100% fine again. It was ridiculous. I recovered so quick. Now, back when I was incredibly overweight, those recoveries weren't like that. I'm telling you that I'm recovering faster from being sick because I'm in better shape, I feel like. Anyway, I was telling you about why I came off the Mounjaro. The biggest reason was I had attained my goal weight, and my numbers on my glucose were right where I needed them. And my doctor thought, well, now that you've lost the weight, maybe you can, control your numbers just through exercise, since you told me you were doing exercise, Ben, and you're eating better. So maybe let's see where that goes with your diabetes numbers. And that's what we did. And honestly, 2 weeks ago, my diabetes, my glucose numbers, anybody that knows anything about glucose knows that a good range, a good normal healthy range should be between like 90 and 100 is perfect. But most people are like up to about 120, 130, right? So my doctor said anything below 140, right, until your A1C reading is going to be okay. If you go over 140, I want to know about it on, your weekly average. What I do is I test once or twice a day now, and I average it out for the week, and that's what my weekly average was. Now, 2 weeks ago, my A1C, or not my A1C, my glucose weekly average, let's see what that was. That was 128. Now, these last 2 weeks, I've still been testing my blood the last 2 weeks, and my weekly average over the last 2 weeks, 118. I don't know if that has anything to do with me being sick, but 118's pretty damn good. That's a 10-point drop from 2 weeks ago. So I'm still real happy, and I'm still well below 140, the reporting number that she has me reporting at. But next week, you guys, I'm going in for my A1C blood draw. So we'll see what my A1C is, and you can expect that report, maybe not in the next weekly update, but definitely in the one after that. Anyway, so blood glucose reading this week, perfect. 118, I love it. It's perfect for me. I still don't need to go back on diabetes medicine according to that. Now let's see what my A1C is next week, and that'll be the real determining factor, right? And I've still been keeping up, even though I haven't been exercising for the last 2 weeks, although I'm starting again tomorrow. You know, I was still going back into that old stinking thinking about, oh, it's the holiday season, I've got too much stuff to do, right? I'll catch up later. I'll just double down, right? I'll just skip Monday, and on Wednesday I'll go an extra hour, right? That never happens. So basically what I've done over the course of the last 2 weeks is let myself down, and I feel I've let some of you guys down. So I apologize for that, and I do feel guilty about it, but I got to be transparent, and I got to tell you guys of my failures, and the last 2 weeks have been a fail as far as exercise go. I've never been one of those guys that could go to the gym and hang out there for hours and hours, and exercise just kind of bores me. I really need to find something to do when I'm walking around. Maybe I need to get like an audiobook or something to listen to, because I just walk around and I just get bored, right? I love walking my dog, don't get me wrong. But a couple hours a week, you kind of get bored doing the same thing. So maybe I'll look into audiobooks or something. Any suggestions out there? What do you guys do when you're getting your exercise in? Any podcasts that you can recommend? Anything? All right, so another aspect of this weekly weigh-in thing and my health vlog, I guess we'll call it now that's no longer a Mounjaro vlog, right? It's no longer a weight loss medicine vlog. Well, it kind of is, because it got me here, right? The Mounjaro got me here. There's no doubt about that. That stuff's incredible, and I'll go back on it if I need to again. We're going to find out today what my weight is. 2 weeks ago is the last time I weighed, and it was 159 2 weeks ago. Let's find out what it is without any further ado this week. Now, all things being transparent, I did admit to you that I haven't been exercising, but I have been keeping up on my eating, and I have not been cheating in any kind of way with fast foods, very minimal processed foods. When I can avoid it, I avoid it. There are some instances where you just really can't avoid all processed foods, but I try to avoid all processed foods. Anyway, you guys, let's find out what my weight is. 2 weeks ago, it was 159. I'm hoping it's like right there at the 160 mark. This is my handy dandy Renfo scale, and you'll notice that my toenails look particularly nasty today. That's because I haven't gotten in the shower this morning yet. I just took my socks off. I sleep with my socks on because I have to put a lot of conditioner on my feet because I'm diabetic and they get awful dry. But you'll notice that my nails look awful nasty, and that's because I was wearing black socks last night, and the lacquer that I put on there for the fungus that I developed when I had diabetes kind of clings to that sock, and it brings the fabric off of it, and they just look terrible, and I apologize for that, but full transparency. Anyway, let's find out what the weight is. Let's see. We are at 161.8. 161.8, I'm happy with that. Gonna be careful this week now though, because 1.8, I'm over that halfway point. My goal weight, remember, is 155 to 165. Really what I wanna be is 160. So when I go a little bit over 160 in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm going towards the top of my goal weight, when really I wanna stay in the middle. So the way I'm thinking in my head, 161.8 is 1.8 pounds this week that I could afford to lose, right? So I'm gonna watch what I eat. I'm not gonna cheat at all. I'm gonna be very careful. I'm only gonna eat when I'm hungry, right? Just like I've been doing. It's not that I've been fasting. There are just sometimes that I skip meals, right? I wake up in the morning and my wife asks, "Do you want breakfast?" And I think about it. I'm not hungry. No, I don't want breakfast. And I'll wait until I'm hungry. Normally I'll be hungry around lunchtime or so, and then I'll have lunch, right? But no longer do I eat when I'm not hungry. No longer am I scheduled breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And actually, sometimes I don't eat breakfast, sometimes I don't eat lunch, and sometimes I don't eat dinner, to be honest with you, right? Sometimes dinner may be an apple at 6 o'clock at night, right? I'm just not that hungry, so I eat when I'm hungry. And that's been working for me for 6 months. So anyway, you guys, here's a promise to you guys. This week I'm going to get out there 3 times. Today is Monday, so I'm going to get out there Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday this week is my promise to you, and I'm going to do an hour walk each time with my dog, Chuck. And he'll thank you, and I'll thank you, and I'm going to get back onto the exercise thing, because I noticed that I have lost a little bit in the last 2 weeks as far as, I don't know, I just feel like less fit than I was 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? You get to a certain, when you start feeling better, you notice when you start feeling worse. It's the best way I can put it, right? I never noticed it before, before I lost the weight and before I started paying attention to my sugars. It just never occurred to me, right? I always felt the same way, bad. I always felt like, ugh. Every day I woke up, I was like, this is going to suck. And it'd take me a pot of coffee to get ready in the morning. Now, I jump right out of bed 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm ready to go for the day. It's ridiculous, you guys. Getting healthy makes all the difference in the world, and I highly encourage it. Now, I am very sorry that I wasn't prepared for a video vlog after 2 weeks, but I did want to get on here, and I did want to apologize and let you guys know that I failed you the last 2 weeks by skipping my walking. And I'm going to be bringing that back in full effect starting tomorrow and then next week, 3 days next week. So the biggest thing to tell you guys after apologizing to you guys for failing is to tell you guys, it may be a failure, but I haven't lost the war, right? I lost the battle, but I haven't lost the war. I'm going to get right back on that horse, and I'm going to get right back in that exercise, and I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I've already scolded myself. I've come out and I've publicly humiliated myself because that's what I deserve, and I'm going to get right back on that horse. I'm not going to give up. I lost the battle, I ain't losing the war, and neither should you, right? You're going to have lots of failures as you're going through this thing, man. I'm telling you, some people call it a journey. I don't call it a journey. It's a big pain in the ass, you guys. That's what it is to me, but it's a part of my life now. This is something that I'm doing, right? This has become a part of getting healthy, and staying in a fairly fit weight is become a part of my life. And I highly recommend it because it sure is making me a much happier person, much more productive. This is going to be a great Christmas, you guys. We'll see you next week.